This show is so bad that I actually think it's a victory for conservatives. I'll tell you why. Stay tuned. What's up, guys? VinceDao here. Be sure to like and subscribe if you are new, and please do. I subjected myself to watching one episode of Velma for you. That's 30 minutes I'm never getting back, okay? So can we get a like and subscribe, please? But yeah, if you haven't heard, there's this new show on HBO that everyone is talking about that's supposed to be like an adult comedy prequel to Scooby Doo called Velma. And to give you an idea, they basically turned Velma black or brown or whatever, like racially ambiguous. And the whole thing was supposed to be like racially ambiguous female girl boss as the star of the show. And she's gonna dunk on all the men and the white people, which is really funny because I'd argue the show is actually her getting dunked on by men and white people constantly, but I digress, okay? I watched the first episode, and to give you an idea, here is the opening line of the show, okay? I don't know if I can play the footage because of copyright, but I wrote down the dialogue here. My name is Velma Dinkley, unfortunate last name, by the way, and I have to say it in the girl boss voice because that's how she talks like the whole time. And this is my origin story. Sure, normally origin stories are about tall, handsome guys being handed the burden of being handed even more power. And if there are about girls, they're like, hey, what made this hot chick go crazy? So to remedy this, I can't even read my own handwriting. That is so bad. I've decided to finally have the story of the bone-chilling events that led me to assemble the mystery team, whatever. But she says, yeah, it was me, not Fred and his weird sex van. So just riveting content, right? We know we are in for a treat already. But you might say, oh, Vince, maybe it's funny. Like Saturday Night Live is a bunch of liberal nonsense, but they can be funny sometimes, right? And I would say if you still find Saturday Night Live funny, I think that's your problem right there. But to give you an idea, okay, well, I also wrote down some of the jokes that they said in the show. Okay, so you ready? I thought lesbians were good at solving crimes. It's like the one positive stereotype perpetuated by cop shows. I know, you're literally wheezing right now. You are on the edge of your seat. You can barely contain your laughter. Here's another one. Why would Fred kill Brenda just because she photographed him in the bathroom? Well, why wouldn't he? If I were a rich white dude, I'd kill everyone just to get away with it. Honestly, I know in my sexist brain or whatever, my first thought was this show has to be written by a woman. Like it has to be. This is some female comedian's attempt to be funny and they diversity hired her. But no, I will apologize for my prejudice against women being funny because the show was actually written by a male comedian named Charlie Grandy. Now, he probably has similar estrogen levels to a woman, but I have to completely apologize. I was wrong. A dude wrote this. You learn something new every day. How you can be a dude comedian no less, and write jokes like this, no idea, but a dude wrote it. So I will hand over the victory to the female species. You are not responsible for this content, but I will admit that there was one joke in the episode that I did laugh at. Shocker, I know. And it was basically the one joke that was supposed to be like toxically masculine or whatever. It was supposed to paint Velma's dad as this mean, old-hearted dude. But I'm not gonna lie, I thought it was kind of based. So basically, Velma's dad comes home from work and said he's had a long day, and here's the exchange. Velma, in the girl boss voice, you've had a long day? I was accused of a murder I didn't commit. Dad, and whose fault is that? Velma, excuse me? Dad, don't you raise your eyebrows at me, Steve Harvey. Again, I actually did laugh when they said that, but this gets to the heart of what I want to say, which is that, look, This is literally the worst show I have ever watched. No exaggeration, no games. It is freaking terrible. But it's so terrible that it actually does the opposite of what it was trying to do. Like Velma, for instance. She's supposed to be the protagonist, this brave, racially ambiguous girl boss that you're supposed to root for because she's breaking glass ceilings. But she's literally such a certain expletive that starts with a B, that I found it so easy to root against her. Like literally with everyone, she has just such an incredibly off-putting temper. She herself is such an annoying person that it's kind of satisfying to see the popular kids win, if I'm gonna be honest. And there are successful nerd stories out there that you could write, like Karate Kid or whatever, where you feel kind of bad for the kid that gets bullied. Nope, not here, not at all. In the episode I watched, Fred is supposed to be the toxic, kind of ignorant, handsome white guy that you're supposed to get mad at. But genuinely, Velma is so off-puttingly annoying that it was totally satisfying to see her get destroyed by Fred the Chad. I think there was one line where Fred was like, "Sorry, I don't remember the names of ugly girls." And I was like, yo, what a king. And I know the hate watchers will say, you just say that because you're against racially ambiguous women in power. And no, you're coping, okay? Because I guarantee you the apolitical normies who watch this thought the exact same thing, because Velma is that much of a you know what. You can say, oh, I was predisposed to root against Velma for political reasons, and that's true to an extent. But I also watched with an open mind for the sake of a fair review, and immediately, I just didn't like her. I think a lot of people didn't like her, but this gets into the heart of my takeaway, which is that this show is so bad that it's actually a victory for conservatives, because it is forcing the mainstream population to come to grips with how much liberalism is killing good entertainment. It's forcing people to realize how deeply unfunny the liberal attempts at comedy are. And see, with the woke stuff, they don't always have to do that, right? For example, the lesbian kiss at the end of Star Wars Episode 9, you might notice that, but it's subtle. It's not so in your face that you realize anything is really going on, or at least most people, but this is so transparently woke and also so transparently bad that I think it's making people realize how much entertainment has declined. I mean, when I see mainstream YouTubers with millions of views making videos about how bad this show is, it kind of gives me hope. It kind of shows that some people are realizing this stuff, and there is a growing demand for good, non-libtarded entertainment. And when I see YouTubers making videos mildly calling out the woke nonsense, I kind of ask myself, like, are we back? Is it 2016 YouTube all over again? I don't know. Let me know what you think. But yeah, that's Velma, folks. Just overall, not an entertaining show from an objective standpoint. I mean, I tuned out basically the last 10 minutes of the episode because it wasn't entertaining or fun enough to even pay attention. And again, people will say, that's just political. But I can watch something and at least stay engaged even if I don't agree. I'm disengaged because it sucks. It's boring. It's not funny. It's just awful. And on the topic of the social agenda they try to push here, again, total failure. I think most people's approval rating of the patriarchy honestly shot up watching that. I think a lot of people probably now want to turn back the clock. So total L for the feminist, total L for Hollywood, and kind of a victory for the right, honestly. But yeah, okay, let me know what you think if you watched it yourself. If you have not watched it, I suggest you don't. Total waste of time. I told you what you need to know. You can go watch it. I promise you, you're going to have the same takeaway. But until next time, remember to like and subscribe. Alpha moves only. God bless and peace.